Well, hello, and welcome to Stop Let's Team Up, episode 92, 4-4-4, episode 3. Me and Kirby are back together to talk Fantastic Four. Say hi, Kirby.
Hi, Russ. Thank you for bringing me on for these.
Oh, yeah, we were kind of laughingly looking forward to discussing the very first one.
If you didn't have me on for this, I would have been really upset.
No. I had to have you on it because I think we both read this for the first time about really close together. And we're like, because we're going to cover issues 9, 10, 11, and 12. And the first one we're going to start with is Infamous, at least for me and Kirby, because of it's absolute bizarre Silver Age weird shit. So the first one we're covering is Fantastic Four number 9, which is entitled The End of the Fantastic Four. This comic was cover dated January 1962, on sale date September 4th, 1962. I will not be born for another 25 months. Wow. This is a 32-page count. I'd kill for comics that were 32 pages every month. That would be awesome. Something would happen. The story is titled The End of the Fantastic Four. It has a great cover. The cover artist is Jack Kirby. Does it give a... No, it doesn't. Mike's Amazing World does not give there's no inker credit, so I guess it's just Jack. And it has the Baxter Building is for sale. Fantastic Four evicted from building 5 tower floors for rent. With a caption box that says, "What happens to the comic magazine's heroes when they can't pay their bills and have no place to turn? Don't miss the newest and most original tale of all, the end of Fantastic Four." And there's Submariner, so they kind of, well, he's on the splash page too. But he's watching as the Fantastic Four are leaving their building and bricks are being thrown at them for some reason. Submariner's thinking, little do they dream they will soon be at the mercy of Submariner. And Ben's going, heroes 1 minute, bumps the next. How did that happen to us? It's a very 1960s cover. It is. I would, if I had a poster of this, I'd love to see Alex Ross paint this. Just Alex Ross, because this is like the one comic that would not need him to paint it. So I think he should paint it.
Yep.
So this
I just love that the top 5 floors already have windows smashed, and those are already like on the 30th floor or something.
It's like a 25. It's like a 20-story building. It's like 15 through 20. It's the whole thing with them going bankrupt is so random and silly that I feel like I'm reading a 1950s Legion.
Yeah, and they say Reed's losing this in the stock market. I really think that's a cover. He lost it at the track.
Yeah, or he's got a bad drug habit or something, But it starts with Submariner watching the news and going, the FF are having financial problems. The financials are about to split up. Isn't this mighty interesting? That's the actual line. Isn't this mighty interesting? So they're penniless. Are they? Well, this may be the opportunity I've been waiting for. Okay. And then we see them being hounded by people owing them money, people repossessing the pogo plane, not having enough money for a cab.
Ben destroying the cab.
Oh, yeah.
Which will just add to their lawsuits.
Yeah, then he goes to see Alicia. And then the team figures out they get an offer to go make movies in Hollywood. So they get a telegram and they hitchhike across the United States. Which I want to see what happened on the hitchhiking. Because I'm thinking 1962. I remember driving across country with my folks and it took us like 5 days. And that was in 72. I can't imagine hitchhiking, especially 4 people in superhero costumes.
Yeah, I gotta imagine Ben was always in the bed of the pickup truck.
Oh yeah,
That.
Yeah, it's because he wouldn't fit anywhere else. So that's the end of chapter 1. All of chapter 1 takes 5 pages, and it just gets them to where they've got to the studio. Did they ever say what's the name? Oh, newly formed SM Studios.
Yeah.
So. Porn?
That's kind of yeah.
I mean, but so I want to see how many of these people you guessed.
Okay, so
we're looking at the
from
celebrity guest appearances.
Okay, so I had to look up the woman on the far left.
Yeah, I knew
guess
what
was
character
Kitty
she played. Yeah, but I couldn't remember her name. I said it was Miss Kitty. I knew it was Miss Kitty.
Yeah, I've never seen Gunsmoke, so
it was still on when I was a kid. It's because it ran for 25 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought that was Roy Rogers above her.
No, that is James Arness, not James.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, James Arness from. He's known for playing Matt Dillon. That's his most famous role. They wanted John Wayne for the role. I won a free drink at the Village here in Richmond one night because they goes, who recommended James Arness for the role of Matt Dillon in Gunsmoke? And it was John Wayne. They wanted John Wayne, they did. And he said, I know this kid James Arness. But he probably is more familiar with the movie. You if you're like horror movies or John Carpenter, he is the Thing in the original The Thing. It came from another planet.
He's from another world.
He's the carrot person. Yeah.
Oh.
And his brother.
Okay.
His brother is Peter Graves from Mission Impossible.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, he was like 6'6", 6'7". Gunsmoke had a lot of famous people in it. Burt Reynolds was a regular as one of his deputies for a couple of years. Fess Parker, who did some Disney stuff, and some other people. And Miss Kitty was in it for most of it. She was the madam in the town, or ran the saloon. And the Doc was there. The Doc was also... Was he the... Oh, he was... I think he was the chief medical officer of the second Star Trek pilot.
Oh, okay.
Not the first one,
I know
but
who you're talking
the second
about.
one. But, so did you know who the bald-headed guy was?
Oh, that's Hitchcock.
Okay. The two guys in the bottom left?
Bing Crosby and Bob Hope.
Yep. And then the last one is...
I was thinking Jackie Gleason.
It is Jackie Gleason. Hold on a second. Because I think the person next to him is supposed to be somebody... And I'm thinking maybe a young Art Carney, but I only recognize Art Carney.
I thought it was Dean Martin on page 7.
Is it? I think you're maybe right.
And Hitchcock is talking to someone online. They said that was supposed to be Charles Bronson, but that's a stretch.
No, that's not Bronson. Not 1962.
Yeah, no, that's where I'm going. Where I wanted to edit the Marvel fan wiki. I'm going, guys, have you looked at Charles Bronson in '62?
He'd probably still been in the army or wherever he was at that point. Yeah, that's not Bronson. No.
Yeah.
I think Bronson made some movies in the '60s before he was famous. So this is at the SM Studios. They walk past all the celebrities. They go into the big mogul's office, and there's this guy in a 3-piece suit with a cigarette and a cigarette holder, and then he turns around, and it is the Submariner. Okay, he smokes.
Oh, the cravat wearing.
Yeah, he's wearing a cravat. And he tells how he got all this money because his ancestors used to spy on pirates and steal their shit.
Sure.
It made sense. And then he hands them big bundles of money, and they get ready for, what are they going to do with the money? Johnny buys a pink sports car.
What is it? Throw it unpaved ahead. Don't let that worry you. I'm just gonna throw a fireball, and that will just completely smooth it out.
Oh yeah, he turns all the sand and dirt to glass. Thing goes to the beach and takes all the muscle-bound dudes and throws them in the ocean. Sue goes to dinner with the head of SM Studios. Don't get near his casting couch. It smells fishy.
I was going to say, this is a Me Too all over it.
Yeah. As I'm reading these, it's like, how are the Sue Submariner's plotline going to read in 2024? Especially the early stuff. And some of it I'm laughing because, it's like, read. When she left you that first time, she comes back, and the first time she hits on Submariner again, or leaves with him, divorce her. Why are you doing? Sometimes I agree that he's driven her into Submariner's arm, but other times she's just playing them both.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was wondering, is the person on first panel of page 10 supposed to be somebody? Because that looks like.
My guess would have been Gina Lola Brigida.
Okay, I
Because
don't. That's not ringing a bell.
she
But
was like the sex symbol between Marilyn Monroe and Raquel Welch.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So that'd be about this era of the '60s. But I don't know. Could be Sophia Loren.
I was gonna say Anne Margaret, but I think I'm getting my timeline mixed up here.
And Margaret would have been young. I don't know. She was in '60. Her big time was in the '60s. I think it's in the later '60s, post Beatles.
Oh, okay.
Around the time the Beatles were at their height, like mid of their existence. So then, Reed's gonna go do a movie, and he fights the real Cyclops.
Yeah, because they just take him to what I in my head is like, oh, this is the monster island that Mole Man was part of.
Yeah, and, in later years it probably is. It's been retro. There can only be one monster island on the planet because by then they probably had written 25 to 100 stories with an island full of monsters. It's like in DC, the island that time forgot is its go-to for where they need dinosaurs. And then Marvel, it ultimately comes to Savage Land. But yeah, so he battles the Cyclops and throws him. And the pit part made me think it is too, because it looks like the pit that the monsters came out of in FF1.
Yep.
And then we have Johnny and the incredibly racist African tribe.
Yeah.
That does not hold up because one, it just is pretty. Johnny fighting them, and they happen to be people that have learned how to deal with fire with their rituals. So
yeah, this is not aged well. Like I've read some Karl Barks from the same era, and it's just guys, it's 1962.
Oh, my brother gave me a book of the guy that did McKay, who did Little Nemo, and it had never been reprinted, and there's a reason. And when I have it in my house, I make sure that the fucking cover is not visible to any human being, because it's just terrible, and that's why they kind of reprinted it. Because they say in it this stuff is incredibly racist. This is what artists did. It's like Tintin's been edited every so many generations to get it in line with the current mores, which I appreciate them doing that because they're beautiful comics, and there's some fixable stuff, but they don't reprint. I don't know if they reprint the first story where it's the American Indians all have big noses and are, just dressed like movie characters. So Johnny gets out of his little thing, and then Ben and the Submariner have a couple-page fight that spans over the end of chapter 4 and into 5. And then he...
Yeah, so Namor really ran out of plot ideas with how to get rid of the rest of that. Reed... I'll go to an island. Johnny, I'll try and kill him with a volcano thing. I'm just gonna punch him and hopefully that'll work.
And then he's beating him and he's like, I'm one. He's so happy. So he goes to Sue. She's like, oh, Namor, you're back. Where are the others? What does it matter? Forget about them. You're looking at the man who's trying to throw over them. And she's like, Triumph? What do you mean? I've proven I'm the master of the Fantastic Four. Now I'll give you the reason why I did this. Now that the others are gone, you shall be my bride.
I do want to mention, in the middle of the fight with Ben just ends because Ben gets hit by lightning and turns back into human completely randomly.
Oh my God.
And he's back human.
Were you tired of this trope by this point reading it?
Oh my! This is already the third time this has happened, and it will keep happening.
I don't mind it when they do something with it, like when the bad guy makes him. I just did the one where the bad guy, which ended up being the Thinker, makes him hate the other Fantastic Four. But Sue gets pissed because Namor's being a predator. And he uses his electric eel thing that he can see anything because of the seas, and he finally captures her, and that's when the Fantastic Four bust in, and they're going to whoop his ass, and she's like, no, stay back, all of you. Even if you think he is your enemy, it's 3 against 1. And he walks into the ocean, and the Fantastic Four movie's a big hit, and they've got all their money back.
The only time that has ever happened so far in American history is a Fantastic Four movie doing really well.
Yeah, no shit. think, but does your volume does it? You read these in the epics?
Yeah, so it does have the Fantastic Four page with how the Human Torch flies. So I do like that.
I do like these things. I miss these things in comics, like a Who's page when they put them in sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have the letters page, do you?
No.
All right, there's no one famous in this one, so I just kind of pop out. So overall, what did you think of that one? I really have a soft spot for it myself because it's just so fucking weird.
It's so weird, and like I just kind of had to stop myself from. I almost had like a joke for every freaking panel in this one. I'm like, no, I gotta stop because it took me with my note taking. It took me about an hour to get through, just because I'm like, no, gotta make this joke, gotta make this joke.
Yeah, it's so weird, and that I think I'd read it as a kid because it had to be in front of the first couple of Masterworks. But it just blew my mind how weird it was. And this time when I read it, I kind of just was. I knew what was coming, and it just made me laugh even more. Like, okay, this is funny now. So I kind of enjoyed it. So let's move on to 10. This was cover dated January 1963, October 9th, 1962. We're about 25 months, 24 and a half months before I'm born. Getting closer. These things, I mean, when I watch old Who and I realize that most of the first season I'm not alive yet. And this stuff's so old, it makes me feel old. This was editor Stan Lee. It's a 30-page story. It's called The Return of Dr. Doom. It's a 20. Oh, the story's 23. The comic's 32 pages. Okay. It's written by Stan, penciled by Jack, inks by Dick Ayers, which are okay. Roll call is normal. We get to see Alicia, and Dr. Doom is back. So he's been back 3 times since he was introduced. Wow. Well, this one.
Sorry. I was going to say, Dick Ayers, I think, does really well here, just through some of the weird expressions, especially on the cover, where he just gives Reed this, like, manic, like, evil, like, grim look.
Oh, yeah.
Maniacal laugh. I don't know what to call it.
Oh, and Stan and Jack are facing the back on the cover because they inserted themselves. Which, normally when that happens, I really hate it. I'm one of the people that was like, the Stan Lee cameo in all the movies was like, Jesus Christ, stop this. It's fucking tacky.
Oh, God, don't get me started on those.
Those are terrible. They drove me nuts. But this is the return of Dr. Doom, and we see Sue's testing her powers, and it's 35 floors of the Baxter Building. The top 5 are the headquarters. And just Sue, Johnny, and Reed are, doing stuff around because there's always a little action. They're breaking equipment, doing experiments. Then they go out into the street and have to avoid all, and cause a scene. And what they do,
Sue, of course, immediately gets sexually harassed.
Oh yeah, immediately. What some guy's just walking up to her trying to get a kiss. And then they find Ben at Alicia's house, and she's made statues of Mole Man, Mr. Miracle, the Skrulls, the 3 Skrulls, Dr. Doom, and Submariner. And then we cut to Stan and Jack's office, and Dr. Doom's come to them. I don't know what for.
Because it's like, I was going to say, this is them literally throwing their hands up going, fuck it, we're bringing him back, we'll figure it out later.
Oh, yeah. So he's gone to them for help, because they're writing, this is the first time we know about the official FF comic, which is a running thing throughout their history, that's how they make some of their money is from the comic books. And they get Stan to call to make an appointment. And we got to find out that Mr. Fantastic has made his clothes stretch. So he's not going to be doing any midrifting anymore. And we find out how Doom kidnaps Reed. He comes. He has Reed. He convinces. They get Reed to come to the office, and Doom kidnaps him and teleports him away to his spaceship. He'd been saved by these aliens who had advanced technology, and he took them over and learned some of their abilities.
Yep, this would be a 6-issue miniseries now.
Oh God, yeah, it would be 3 issues of him taking over the damn planet. Oh, Really.
Yep.
And then Doom trades places with Reed. They exchange bodies.
How?
I don't know. His mental abilities learned from the aliens. But for the
Fair.
rest of the comic, when Doom is in Reed's body, they give him this really fucked up face.
I know.
He's like,
and I really like it.
I do. It's evil. It's either evil Reed or constipated Reed. Because he just looks like, oh my god, no, my face doesn't move. And then just kind of recount some adventures, and they convince him, and it's all about a shrinking ray. I don't know why the shrinking ray became important, other than it was a device that Doom wanted.
And I gotta touch on this. His explanation with the dinosaurs is, what the actual fuck are Stan and Jack, are you guys on?
Oh no, it's like 2 panels. I was like a sidebar. It's like, this has nothing to do with the plot.
No. This to me, again, is Jack trolling Stan. Go, you figure this out. You tie it in.
I got you. I'm gonna draw this. There are fucking dinosaurs in spacesuits, Stan. Pull this out of your ass, you bastard. Because they are wearing spacesuits in the second one, aren't they?
Yeah. So it's like, as you know, ages ago, the dinosaurs were lords of the earth. But unfortunately for them, their bodies grew too large while their brains remained the same, until they simply grew themselves out of existence.
Well.
Okay, no.
Well, this is what, 50... This is about 40 years before the asteroid theory?
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Asteroid theories, asteroid theories, I don't think it's that new. I think it's, if at most, 50 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not until we got into space and got better telescopes did we realize we knew stuff hit, but we started to see that most planets had craters all over everything. It's kind of when the I think it comes around the same time as the Goldilocks theory of planets like us. Why we've got giant gas giants out in the old farthest part of the solar system taking hits. We've got Mars blocking some. We've got the asteroid belt blocking some, and then we've got a moon that blocks some. So when we get hit, it's a big one. And I think that's when they kind of put the math together. Oh, maybe that's what killed the dinosaurs, because they all died kind of. It's like, because I think they were just thinking, they evolved into a dead end. But I don't know if there are genetic dead ends. Do we still believe that? Or just, you know what I mean? Because all that science changes every 15 minutes because we learn something new.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think I think it was just, I think you're right. I think it was Jack fucking with Stan. And all this stuff, the shrink ray and the fighting, because I think Jack is just putting fun little bits. He's putting a different bit in every 4 to 6 pages for the kids.
Yep, like we got the small animals before the dinosaurs. I think just to it's a cute little funny image.
Yeah. Reed gets out by using the faceplate to shatter his plexiglass cage.
And he's doing the Jaws technique by bursting air tanks.
Yeah.
Then he goes to Alicia first, which I kind of like.
I think he's doing it because he doesn't want to go to the place because they're going to think he's doomed. But he thinks because she can't see him.
Right.
He'll be able to convince her easy because she won't be seeing Dr. Doom.
Okay, which makes sense. Which I can buy that.
Mm-hmm.
Strange. Beneath this cold steel, I can feel the warmth of spirit, of kindness, is what Alicia says as she's touching Doom's faceplate, like you said. So there you go.
Yeah.
Which, don't know if that makes sense, but I can roll with it to get the story to where it needs to be.
And Sue's hiding that. And Sue's there for some reason. Or they've gone because I think how long? And it takes them about 3 pages to figure everything out. They vacuum up, or no, Doom and Mr. Fantastic's body starts causing trouble. He trips Doom. He does it like I'm gonna trip him because they tied his hands.
Yes.
And they're gonna shrink Sue, and then there's stuff about the dynamite.
Which I had to read a couple because I'm going, what? Okay.
Yeah, it's all added. Oh yeah, and then Reed's learned how to switch back, and he does it, and then they use the shrink ray on Doom, and he's destroyed again.
Yep, never to be seen again until I can't remember the next time we see him.
In issue 16.
Oh, okay.
For now. That's a pretty big jump. Oh, we're not going to use him for 10 issues. All right. Yeah. And then it's got a nice Sue pinup. I think this is the first Sue pinup. It took 9 issues.
Yep. So, which again I like. So I think that's all of them now, and now we're on to issue 11.
Yeah. So what I like is I've got the epic, so it's got the forward from the Masterworks where it would go. So that was the end of volume 1.
Oh, okay.
So the first 10 issues were in the first Masterworks. So the next one this is 2 stories for the price of 1 in this issue. I'm glad they put both of them in there, because one of them is kind of just like a recap of Origin.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's do the cover, because it's got a good cover. It's got the Fantastic Four facing off against the Impossible Man. What's going on here? Why is the Fantastic Four backing away helplessly from the Impossible Man? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. And then below, the story you've requested, A Day with the Fantastic Four, featuring never-before-revealed facts about the FF past and present.
So, this cover delivers.
I like
on
this
everything.
cover. It's an old school style, but I think it's a really good cover. I think Impossible Man looks a little bit menacing in the cover, more so than he ever does. And we'll talk when we get to that story. I'll talk about my take on Impossible Man, because I remember it was it Wolfman brought him back and Perez drew it? Yeah.
I've got the issue number where he comes back.
Okay. So. When we get to that, we'll look it up. But we get the day in the life. We meet. Is this the first time we meet Willie Lumpkin?
Yes, it is. It's the first time we meet Willie Lumpkin. Who this is his only appearance in the whole Jack and Stan run. I don't know when he eventually comes back as a semi-regular.
I think maybe Roy does it with Buscema and Buckler, or it's Byrne.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's kind of
that would make
hold on.
Because the issue opens up with the FF going to get their own comic or the news page.
Yeah.
And then them just kind of having fun with the kids. This is probably the most genial Ben's been out in public. And even then, he still destroys a lamppost.
Oh, yeah. But I like this. They just kind of go and they play with kids. They do tricks. The Yancey Street Gang put another punching bag on a Jack in the Box. He crushes a barbell. He changes back for a few moments. And then we get to see more about him and Reed's origin. I like this. This is the first time we see this part where they become roommates and how they bond and they go to war and they work for Nick. They're Reed's a spy.
I was going. Is there an old Sergeant Fury where Reed or Ben show up?
Yeah.
Oh, there.
Nice. There is one in Howling Commandos, pretty sure. So. Nice. And then we get to see them meet Sue, or Sue tells her part, and they go and they get their powers, and they're just reminiscing. They reminisce about some of their early adventures. They wish Sue a happy birthday, and then you see Willie from the outside bringing another big bag of mail. I thought that was neat. That was a good one. That it's first in the comic is weird, because normally that would be the backup, but I think since the backup is so silly.
Yeah. This is kind of cute. This feels like a Silver Age, Legion or Superman story.
Yeah, it is.
More than anything in a lot of ways.
This one didn't bug me as much because it's meant to be silly and they're writing it for the kids, and I think they nail it. Because I think Impossible Man's a cute little character. I get it. This comic is still being written for 7 to 10 year olds. Yeah. So there's some good action in it. I think the art's really good in it. It's Dick Ayers Inc.'s anti-Semitic letters. The Kirby's won 100% cover Kirby. But I enjoyed this. I think it's kind of silly. I think it's probably one of the few times I like the Impossible Man, because I can go, it's 1963, 62, so I can kind of accept it. Mm-hmm. Because I never liked it when he came back.
Yeah, I've read a couple of his later appearances, and to me, Impossible Man is like Mr. Mixie's Spitlick, but without kind of like the weird charm.
Yeah, he's just kind of a jerk.
Yeah, because Mix at least has rules to when he'll leave, and this story is a bunch of stuff happens, and then he just leaves.
Yeah. But it's like, this is one that, like, what makes me think Byrne brought him back or Wolfman brought him back, because these are guys that they read these as kids, so they had a soft spot for him. But it's just a cute little comic. It's funny. I think it's actually, of the three we've talked about, it does what it's supposed to do more. You know? The Submariner being a movie mogul is just silly. Doom just switching bodies is a pretty, we expect so much more from them. You and me, yeah. But Impossible Man, I get this. So they got a pinup of the Submariner. I think it's one of the best pinups we've seen.
Oh, that's before the Impossible Man story in my collection.
Oh, is it? It's after it in mine.
Oh,
and then the letter pages. Yeah. I love it. It's a really good one.
Yep.
I love it. I like his version. I like that Byrne drew the Submariner like that too. So I'm looking at letter pages. Anybody famous? Anybody famous? Later in this volume, it is like George R.R. Martin on every letter page.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the next one, at last, the Fantastic Four meet the Hulk. Yes. Is this the first Hulk thing battle?
It would have to be, and I checked. This came out the same month of Amazing Spider-Man 1, so either way, the Fantastic Four is probably the first, like, modern Marvel character crossing over.
Yeah, because this takes place between 5 and 6 of Kirby's Hulk run. So this one was cover dated March 1963, came out in December 10th, 1962. Editor Stan Lee, it is a Lee Kirby Air Simic production. The Hulk is a guest star. We get to see Alicia Masters, Rick Jones, and Thunderbolt Ross. I love this cover. It's a Jack Kirby Dick Ayers cover. The Hulk is waiting to destroy the FF around a bend in a cave, and Thing's leading the way, and the other three members are following him. A book-length ethic. Need we say more?
I like that it's actually just building up to the confrontation, not it just being kind of like a stock Hulk and Thing punching each other cover.
We're in the era where the cover had to tell you something about the book other than the slugfest sometimes. And I like on the splash page, you don't have the FF logo, you have the Hulk's logo. I think they're trying to save the Hulk book at this point, and I think this is a...
Oh, right, because Hulk got canceled after 6, right?
Yeah, it doesn't appear for a couple years until he comes into Tales to Astonish or Tales to Suspense. It starts with a symphony. They'd gone to see the symphony with Alicia and Ben. Ben's wearing his fancy cashmere overcoat and his big fedora and some sunglasses. And they notice the National Guard's walking down the street. And they see him and think they see the Thing trying to toss this kind of a jerk around and attack him, misunderstandingly.
Yep, he's not green nor is he gray, so he must be the Hulk.
Yes, and they use this this giant bolo cylinder or something.
Oh, I loved that.
I did too.
Just the way it was spinning.
That was a good one. But he breaks free and they use gas. And that's when an officer shows up, and it's like, well, you're not the Hulk. No shit, dumbass. Thing's electric eye to open the elevator door is not working, so he rips off the door and climbs up the elevator shaft.
He couldn't have. I know it's not. He couldn't have gone to the front desk and asked them to call down or something.
Yeah, I know it's not the era of cell phones, but come on, don't you have like super duper walkie talkies in your belt buckle like Batman? Come on, yeah. You work for a super scientist, damn it, Ben. Snatch some microphone. Just a walkie-talkie. And then Thunderbolt Ross shows up and briefs them on the Hulk. And then they talk about how they're going to defeat him. I kind of like that they put that in here. Jack put that in here.
Yeah, no, just because, again, this whole issue is building up to, the first fight.
Yeah.
and they all get, and Ben gives his of like, oh, here's how I'll beat the Hulk. Johnny gives his, Reed gives his. And there's ego on all three of their parts that
yeah.
of how they would do it.
Yeah. So we get to see the new Fantastic car for the first time, the first version of the four-seater. I still like the bathtub. I really
like this design.
I do too, but I really do love the bathtub. I think they're both good.
The bathtub's very kitsch and very like 60s for me. I do like this version.
Yeah.
A little more.
Yeah. And we get to see Banner. They don't know who he is. But there's this other villain called the Wrecker, who's this bald guy. It's not the Wrecker. I checked it. It's just they reused the name.
Same name?
Same name, yeah. They just created a better Wrecker later.
Oh, I love this bit. It's on page 12 where Ben is just demonstrating his strength. So he like rips like half a dozen bound phone books all at once, and he just has this very satisfied, smug look at his work.
And it pisses off Thunderbolt Ross. Oh no, you big ape! You ruined my bound set of telephone books. God, General Ross, you get a better hobby. Oh. But I like it. They're hanging around with Banner and Rick Jones.
Yeah, I think I've only ever read the first original Hulk story, so I didn't realize that he was still like hanging around the base and all of that.
Oh yeah, it's all based in that. Yeah.
Okay.
And by 5 and 6, Jack's not even drawing it. It's Ditko.
Oh wow.
It's Ditko.
That's weird to me, but okay.
They're not very. I mean, I like the Hulk. I think Hulk's a great character. I think they've done amazing things. There are eras of Hulk I absolutely love, but I don't think it's really good until it gets to Tales of Suspense. When it's in that book, and especially not until you get Roy writing it and you get Trimp Severin and people like that doing it. Does it really sing? And I'm a big fan of the bit Manglo Sal Buscema era, where he's just kind of touring the world and sometimes going to an alien dimension.
Marvel, it happens.
Yeah. So it reads like an Astro City trade back in a way, because that era of Hulk, they do all the tropes at some point. And I mean that in a kind way. For you folks who've never read Astro City, read it. It's amazing. They're big omnibus coming out. Even though I've got the hardcovers, I think I'm going to get the Omni and sell my hardcovers, because it looks so pretty, and it's one of my favorite comics of all time. So Chapter 4 is Hulk at last. They put Ben in a rocket sled where the tracks are bent.
Yep. Rick has been captured from Carl Court, and he just had his like subversive communist front organization card in his wallet, which Court dropped earlier. So, 60s.
You're carrying your Communist Party card in your pocket. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
In an American military base.
Yeah. Well,
on top of that.
Jesus, you're a moron.
Yeah.
This is where we see that he can trigger the transformation, which I liked.
Yeah, this was news to me. So I've obviously only read that first issue, so it wasn't immediately Hulk. Don't get you wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
No, they're nowhere near that. It's either that or it changes at nighttime. Yeah. So it's very different. So there's all these caves underneath this town out west.
The top panel on page 19, where they're all coming out of the hole and Hulk's just smashing like this ghost town. I love that panel. There's just so much going on.
Oh, I know.
There.
I love all of this. When they're coming through the tunnels, I like how Jack does it, and then you get to the point to where the cover is kind of the place where the cover lets you start it at.
Which I really like.
And this is some great action. It's like throwing buildings. Everybody gets a piece in it. There's a giant robot that looks like an angry Shih Tzu without its hair. That the Wrecker. It's like a shaved dog. And then the Wrecker looks like Armin Shimmerman without the Quark makeup.
Aww.
am
I mean, you're not wrong.
But I actually liked this one. I thought this was a fun 1960s comic. It wasn't so silly. You know, there was some silliness in it, Silver Age silliness, but it was tighter. You know, I don't mind I like seeing Bruce and Rick at this time. I do like Kirby's Hulk.
Yep, where he's still like heavy Frankenstein looking.
Yeah, I really like it. I thought it was a fun issue. Of the four of them, I think it's the best issue.
I would agree. Like issue 9 had a lot of like unintentional humor to it, but this one is like, on reading it, I might have to change where I'm on board, because this read a lot better for me this time around.
Well, I get on board more next episode. Next episode of 4x4. These were, I mean, I enjoyed these more this time than I did the first time. I think it become a slog by this time. It was like, when did these be less little kid like? And I didn't realize how long I was gonna have to wait. And that caused some frustration in me as a reader. But this time I laughed at the cheesy stuff. I really did enjoy the Impossible Man story a lot more. Because it's doing exactly what it does without any extraneous or weird divergent things. Or just premises that are just so silly, like Submariner owning a movie studio.
Yeah. Which was, stuff happens, and now we have a plot.
Yeah. This is what's going to start the fighting. But overall, these are fun. The art's good. I think the art gets a little dodgy later. For me.
I don't. Yeah, I actually kind of like Dick Ayers' inks on here. I think for what Jack is doing currently, it does complement it well.
Yeah.
There's some anchors where I have some choice words, and that's not even Vince Coletta.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. And once Sinnott gets there, the art just kind of moves very quickly into that kind of house style. That even and then even when they left, and it was like John Buscema and Sinnott, or Rick Buckler and Sinnott, or even George Perez and John Byrne was Sinnott, Keith Pollard and Sinnott. Yeah, that's way down there. Pollard did this and Thor about the same time.
Okay.
Both written by Roy, I think. No, by this point, FF is written by it's either Marr or Jerry Conway or Lynn Wein. There's what I kind of consider the wilderness years, where really there are some good stories in it, but overall it's between when Roy leaves and John Byrne comes in. It depends on what you get.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Wolfman Perez stuff's pretty good. I think the Byrne stuff is pretty good. Pre-writing it himself is pretty good. And I think there's some good. I mean, I think there's some good stuff. But I like the Rick Buckler, John Buscema, Roy Thomas era too. But that was my first one. But I mean, these are fun. I think compared to like a modern comic, an average written one, because I don't think these are the FF masterpieces we talk about when we talk about what makes FF important. I mean, I think we've read,
that's not
I think
for
we've
a
read,
while.
I think we've read a couple, like the first Doctor Doom and the first issue and the first Submariner. Some of those are really good. They're still Silver Age kind of kitschy, but they're still really important comics. But I think when you get to when they get into this, let's do stories that last 6, 7 issues, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I think it's just, I'm at 68. I'm gonna take a little break after we record before I finish editing this and Gallifrey's Most Wanted, and I think I'm gonna read 3 or 4 issues of just where I'm at, because I'm at a good point. I'm in between storylines that I'm interested in, but I'm still enjoying it. So Ben's been a little bad guy for a while, and he's about to not be a bad. He's been turned bad by the Thinker, by the Thinker storyline, which isn't bad. I'm glad I've got the Omnis. I'm glad they're going to do a volume 5. I think at some time I will get the 2 Hickman and the Fraction ones, because I do like that era. But I also wouldn't mind. They're re-releasing the Mike Wieringo Omni,
which I'm definitely going to get.
Yeah, it's so good. They meet God.
It's Jack.
Of course it is. It's fucking brilliant.
Yep.
So I'm enjoying this. I wanted to talk about something else. Well, I've got you on because the latest near mint condition. We recorded this on the 20th of January. Oh shit! I need to call my little sister. Her birthday was 2 days ago.
It happens.
It happens every year. But they've given a release date and the contents of the Secret Six omnibus.
I was so happy to see that.
I'm buying the hell. It's only $100.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking. I'm keeping my singles, but I'm also getting that just for the. It's a new Nicola Scott cover.
I love her stuff.
Of the main.
Yeah, I love her. I love her. I found she was doing Doctor Who for a while for Titan before she went and did Marvel stuff and did DC stuff. So I love her stuff. I love her stuff. And I can't wait to reread it because heck, let me because you have everything, right?
I have everything.
Okay,
yep.
okay. See, I don't think I've read everything. I think I read Villains United, and then I think I read the first mini-series and maybe the first 12 issues of the second, the ongoing. Because was it two minis
Right.
and then an ongoing, or just a mini and then the ongoing?
So it's the two minis. They also include the Birds of Prey in
See, I
there,
didn't know
which
about
would be
that.
next up. Yeah, so that would be next up in reading order, and then it'll be the ongoing, and then we're off to the races. So I think they're going through what, volume 17 or issue 17?
Yeah, hold on.
Or
I'm
so
I'm pulling that up now. Yeah, I think it's a bunch, and then it's the first 16 issues or something.
Yeah, so
So
I
it
think
comes out June 11th. So far away. It's not even available for pre-order, but I'm going to pre-order it the day it is. I can. It contain. Oh wow, no, this does not give everything in here. Wow, it doesn't even give the page count. In their description, they don't have it.
Oh.
Ooh, I'm gonna check somewhere else while we're talking about. But this is some great stuff, folks. I know we're talking FF, but I gotta plug this because when it comes out, I think me and Kirby will have to do the next arc. Because we already did the Villains United, and we're both, just so blown away about it because it's just absolutely stellar stuff.
So next up for us would be the Birds of Prey arc, which is the last of Gail's Birds of Prey before she moves over to doing Secret Six full time. So it's kind of an interesting.
See, I've never read.
passing
Is
of
the Birds of
torch.
Prey something worth reading?
Absolutely. And they're interesting. Like they had skipped over a volume, and they're now releasing that trade in March, and I don't know why they skipped over it. It didn't look to me like anyone had been arrested or anything like that. So it's like we screwed up. We're gonna put it back in there in the same trade style format, which is good. So my OCD can
Okay,
not
so
be irked.
that's weird. Here we
Yeah.
go. I'm gonna go look on near mint condition, and Omar always puts at the bottom of the screen the what's where. So if it'll pull up. I do like near mint condition for just the amount of information they give you, which is great. And I kind of went through this one because it had. There's so much stuff coming out.
Yes, Shazam! Volume
Yeah,
1.
no, there's a bunch of omnis. So there's the Ringo. There's this. I think you told me they're doing the Marvel Godzilla omni, which. Even if that's junk, I'm gonna love it.
It's a glorious herd shrimp. Dum Dugan's the main hero.
Okay.
He's he's commander of the helicarrier Behemoth. I think it's called the Behemoth. It's a lot of fun. So volume 1 is Villains United 1 through 6. Villains United Infinite Crisis Special number 1. Birds of Prey 104 through 109. Secret 6 Volume 2 1 through 6. Secret 6 Volume 3 1 through 16. And Stories from 52 number 28 and Countdown number 22.
Oh, okay. I think that during those they were doing hero and villain origin backup, so that's what those last two would be.
So that's a
two pagers.
This is really good. This is such. I'm looking at Komar's face, and he's so excited about announcing this one. But there was some good stuff on this. I've looked at the Godzilla vs. King Kong. It's pretty. It's on the app. Is that really a Perez? Oh my God, They're collecting the Prez, Prez. It's an old 70s character they brought back at one point.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Then Batman, Catwoman, Gotham War, which I will probably read on that. Nightwing. What is this? Batman Beyond. Is this the second one? Oh no, that's just a neo-gothic first arc. Some more of the Tom Taylor. Volume 2 of the Danger Street. There's some good stuff in here. But that's the big one, I think. Yeah, and they're doing some more of these, like what they're calling compendiums in some way, or the complete series, which are they're like the Kyle Rayner, which isn't as thick as a compendium, but it's thicker than a regular trade. And they're going to do some other stuff that I haven't gotten, but I'm looking kind of forward to some of this stuff. But I'm really looking forward to, they're going to do the Messer Loeb's Mike Baron omnibus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they called it Messer Loeb's. Yeah, they called it, Messer Loeb's and Greg LaRocque Volume 1, but it's also got the 10 Mike Baron issues, Jackson Geist, that start that series post-Crisis. So,
gotcha.
I think I don't have any of the Johns or the Wade, but if my budget allow, I may get this, because I remember loving this series. When he wins the lottery, it's really just...
He's a rich little prick.
Yeah. And it's the 80s. He's making all the wrong choices. All right. So, hey, is there anything you want to talk about before we go? Anything you want to recommend?
No. Just want to say, I've been reading the Jonah Hex series as I'm kind of catching up with that. So that I'm also catching up on the IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, which is, I think, coming to an end. I'm getting some conflicting reports on that, but I would definitely recommend that series. And those are just kind of the two main ones that I'm on right now.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I'm not a big Mutant Ninja Turtles. I've jumped in and out from time to time. I like some of the stuff I see. I'd like to read that Jonah Hex. I'd like to get that a weird Western Omni. That's all the Palmiotti stuff, but it's like $200. It's out of print.
Yeah, it was 70 issues under Jonah Hex, and then another 36 when it rebranded to All Star Western as brand new 52.
Oh.
It's good stuff.
I like his stuff. I've got his. I'm a big fan of him and his wife's Wonder Power Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, always a fun read. And I'm just jumping around. I'm reading what I got to read for stuff. I'm glad Danger Street's done, so I can start doing other things. I'm gonna start reaching out to people to do some Marvel team-ups. DC Comics presents Brave and the Bolds and Marvel 2-in-1s. Do some one-and-dones on those. And some Defender stuff coming up, too, I want to do. So, but folks, hey, this is going to go up today. So this will be up on the 20th. On Tuesday, you will get to hear me and David talk about Starman Annual 1. And next Thursday is our next My Legion adventure with the George Tuska era. I hope you will tune into those too. And as always, be safe, be smart, please be kind to one another, and read some comics. Read some Fantastic Four.